always asking people this, even like friends or nini, like small interviews, even when we're just even drinking in the living room on a Friday. It's like, how much money would make you happy? Because we're always talking in an economical situation where like everybody now is trying to figure out like finances, cost of living, inflation, all those things those are the main things that stress people every single day.
You've brought up a very important point of defining what success is to you.
Yeah.
You need to actually have an actual figure.
Yes.
Because otherwise, you will think you will never attain. In fact, you will never attain the success.
Very true.
And people think that sometimes for you to be successful or your success needs to be defined in the millions of dollars.
Yes.
But that's not true. Your success can be getting to 5 million Kenya shillings.
Yep.
Because you've capped your lifestyle at a certain point.
Yeah.
And you don't need to spend 100,000 every month. If you're spending 50,000 every month, that is very reasonable.
I'm always telling people that, finances, it gets very interesting once you start doing it practically and seeing maybe results and stuff. And even when I'm asking those questions, I'm always trying to pick different people's brains. It's like, hey, somebody would say like 3 million would make me happy now. Somebody would say 5, somebody would say 10. Another one, it's my friend, of course, she'll see and then she'll, I thought it was ridiculous, first of all. But, everyone is entitled to express themselves and how they think. Because for her, she said, I asked like, okay, in a month, maybe, what would make you happy? She said 8 million. you see, like, wait. You see, even like almost you're like, Baka, you're like, Baka.
What are you
No. But you see that. But I told her like, that's ridiculous. Are you serious? And she said like, and there's, I won't say the saddest part. I was like, no, I'll say it's the saddest part. The saddest part is that she was serious. She wasn't joking. And then I told her like, okay, no, relax. Because I was like, not even pilots make that. You know that, right? That's not an MP's salary. That's not a president's salary. They have other things on the side maybe to make. Company owners, people who have like really, really... And I was like, let's be practical. She said, no, that's what's practical to me.
8 million a month.
A month. And I told her, I don't think you can be happy because before you get to a level where you're making that kind of
Big
money,
mountain.
you have the obstacles that you're supposed to pass right now, first of all. You shouldn't be here drinking with me. You're supposed to be out there trying to figure out something else because 8 million is crazy. Crazy. If you say 1 million, I'd say like, hey, that's a lot, but that's more practical. Because there are people who earn that, like people who are in high certain positions in companies, even 1.5.
Maybe she was talking about that what's that in dollars?
No. No.
It's about 5.
It's about 50,000, 60,000.
$50,000.
No, she said 8 million Kenya shillings. And I looked at her and I was like, but I think also now like a lot of young people now, like we've said, now once you fuse something like social media in, it clouds and makes people not understand that. At times you can just, I think for my case, even like let's say before I got like in a slightly better financial position, right now with the knowledge that I have, I think if I didn't have anything, somebody gave me 5 million, I think I'm capable of flipping it and being set for life. Because I know high-risk assets, I know, more secure and risk-free assets that I can get into and then still do other things slowly without a lot of pressure. For me, I think 5 million right now, if I didn't have any cash at all, give me 5M, I think I can be able to put myself in a position where I'm set for life.
I think
She said 8 per month.
Let's shed some light on
the
compounding effect.
Yeah.
Because maybe some listeners will assume when you say you get the 5 million, then you're going to start chipping away at it very slowly, and then at some point it's going to come to zero, which is not the case.
No. Yeah.
So how compound, and in fact, most things in life compound.
Yeah.
Not just money, but skills, experience, your network, everything compounds.
Yeah.
And so
and define compound or compounding interest just for basic people who maybe, because that's also like a term that Warren Buffett uses all the time.
Sure.
And he's always saying like time is just, it's just about time.
Yeah, so I define compounding as growth that builds on growth. So if I have $1 million and I get 180,000 on the
As
first year,
interest, yeah.
on the second year I'm going to gain interest on 1.18.
Yes.
It will not be on 1 million. That is if you don't withdraw the interest from the first year.
Yeah.
So you need to think about the smallest amount that you can begin to compound from the level where you are right now.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait until you have 1 million Kenya shillings.
True.
You don't have to wait until you get 5 million Kenya shillings. There's apps like Zimele, money market funds all over that you could just put in, where by the way they've not paid me to advertise them or anything. I'm just saying.
No, you can mention whatever it is, because I think a lot of people, I've had somebody who was from a banking institution and they named different kinds of apps. So, of course, this is not an advertisement. It's just saying like, an example.
Just look into it. Look into money market funds. They are the safest instruments for, low capital investments.
Yeah.
So they are not going to give you some crazy figures at the end of the year, but they're going to give you something. And if that's what you can manage, then you can build on that. Where the risk is tolerable, you can tolerate the risks that they entail. So that is how I'd advise people to think of it.
If you're adventurous, I would tell you get into crypto.
And if
you have like heart disease, high blood pressure, all those things, I wouldn't advise you, because it has now what you see the same way he's describing. Like now it has volatility. Today you wake up, your money is here. Tomorrow your money is there, and it might stay there for a while before it goes back there. So how balance?
Let me ask this to you: how do you maintain the cool?
Yeah,
and not to react to it emotionally.
Yeah,
how do you do that?
Because now it comes with time. As long as you've and even if in stocks, it's the same way Warren Buffett would tell you, like when the stocks are low and everybody's in crisis, that's when he comes in to buy. That's when he comes in to buy. But you can't do that if you're a newbie, because now every move that you'll be doing, it will be emotional. It will be tied to emotions. There's financial crisis, the stocks are down. It's already halfway on your portfolio. Your portfolio is probably 10M. You've panicked because now it's at 5M, and then you sell at 5. And then down the year, it comes back to like the 15M. So now, but as long as you've gone through like a bear market or a financial crisis where like your portfolio was like almost like halfway done, and you've ridden through that, I think mentally you just become like a very different person. And now you don't move with emotions anymore, because at the end of the day, if it's S&P 500, it always goes back. The market always corrects itself.
It's a thing of experience. The control comes with experience.
It's experience. Because any new person that people who lose money with stocks and all those things, it's just because they do it with emotions. It's like, oh my God, there's a panic. People are selling, and then you sell yours. Once you sell, you're losing, because you're selling an asset that has already lost value.
Like for example, Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Which was at 60,000 maybe 3 years ago.
16,000.
It went down to...
It was 16,000.
But now recently it has come back up.
Yeah.
So I saw
73,000 right now.
So someone was making a joke and saying, the person who invested, say a certain amount, X amount 3 years ago, has the same amount. And this is the right time for them to sell. And I sat and I thought about the people who sold at a loss because they panicked.
Yeah.
So maintaining cool is a very important part of it.
That's the most important thing. And I think even like now for asset building, we also have to, because like I said, we don't have the opportunities like our grandparents used to have, like buying land. You go in the middle of like Kajiado and buy land, and then it's going to gain value, and then you sell it. You can't do those things right now, because one, you have to go check the land before squatters pitch tents up over with spears and arrows. In fact, where do you even buy land at a cheap price right now? that's gonna give you like 10x or even 5x value.
We cannot discount real estate.
No. We cannot discount, but I'll explain one thing about real estate. Real estate right now, with like, if we think about it logically, it's for people who have a lot of money. You can store your money there in real estate.
What do you think about the people who are buying the apartments in Kilimani?
They have a lot of money. How much are apartments in Kilimani?
12 million
and above. 12. If you have 12 million to buy an apartment, you're rich. Cause for one, in Kenya we know like the median income maybe, I'd say just average salary in Kenya, it's probably around 50.
Sure.
It's around 50. We can estimate it at around 50, not above that. Average, if we're talking about like just standard, or it could be lower because teachers are striking because they're getting less than that. Let's just be honest. Police who have guns, first of all, and you see their frustrations all the time. They don't even get the average salary that would be. But I think 50 would be an average where somebody would be kind of okay. Kind of. Anything above that, you're blessing. You're having a good salary.
Buying an apartment worth 10 million would take 200
how long?
months. 200 months of saving.
200 months, that's... and that's saving your whole salary.
Your whole salary.
You're living maybe in somebody else's house. You're not buying food. You're staying with your parents.
So I think on real estate, unless you're buying land and adding value to it, don't do the speculating thing.
Because tell me, by the end, first of all, we've bought it with 12M, right? Let's go with 12 million. If you've bought it at 12M, remember, you've said how many months?
200.
200 months. So after 200 months, first of all, you haven't made profit. You're making back your principal.
Sure.
And then after 200 months, now you start making profit.
And by then, people would have already probably moved on from such type of apartments.
There are better apartments have already come up. They've already better apartments coming up. So even with that, if you just took 12 million, probably 6 you put, like, even if it's in infrastructural bonds, they'll give you better nini. It's less risky, more secure. You don't have to deal with people killing each other in your Airbnb or sijui, like land was because you bought it at an off plan. There's somebody else coming up with papers. You know how Kenya can surprise you. But if I
think it all boils down to risk tolerance.
Real estate is not even about nini. I'm just saying, like, for real estate, I think it's for moguls, people who have and that's just me. I'm not saying like, I'm not right. I'm just thinking of like how I've tried looking at other things that can make you money, especially like online, where we have like access now to stocks, to crypto and all those other things. If you bought Bitcoin probably like last year,
you're in a good place right
even
now.
Just last year, it has flipped your money. Like real estate, you're still counting 200 months. It's how many years are we talking about? 10. Close to 10 years.
A lot.
10 years, what will have happened? If you had a child this year, they'll be 10 doing tournaments. If it's soccer tournaments, if she's an artist, she's doing something, nini. And at that time, you are still waiting for your principal to get back. I don't think that would be the wisest move. So that's why, and I think if you pick like the biggest, let's pick the billionaires. What do they deal with? Real estate or stocks? Let's pick top 10 billionaires. Warren Buffett,
Then stocks.
Bezos, Elon Musk.
I think it's also about the market.
Well, in what way?
In this way. There's this...
But once you've established, and sorry to cut you off, but once you've established yourself with stocks and everything else, what do they normally do? They now pick like real estate and nini, because now you have money that, what do I do with this money?
You're not interested in immediate return.
Yeah, because now you can go to more like where you can store, like now where you can store your money. It's like, okay, so I have apartments here, but in real sense, you want things that can at least, like you've said, compound as well.
For sure.
Compound as well. Because remember, if you're talking about, like, let's say your portfolio has 200 million and you're getting a percent for, let's say, the 18 18.5, which we have to be practical with a government bond that exists so that people don't say like, that's just the government had one for 18.4%. So for 200 million. And compound it for 10 years. Wild. Wild. Yeah. For sure. That's crazy. Now that means, now that comes to the conversation of where now that's building wealth now. Yeah. The other ones, it's storing. Like you're looking for somewhere to store. So I wouldn't recommend real estate for someone who's trying to build. But if you're trying to store wealth,
there's this perspective of sentimental value versus financial value. So most of us have grown up knowing that, at your peak, you're supposed to buy land, you're supposed to build a home.
Yes.
And I think more people need to hear that it's okay to rent.
It's okay.
It's okay to rent.
It's okay.
If you find a good apartment, even a good standalone house, where you're paying a reasonable amount for rent, it's okay to rent.
It's okay. It's okay.
And put that money into, some other investment, and you're set for life.
In Kenya, we shame each other for people. Ati bado ana rent apartment, ana nyumba yake. Trust me. When you see people being able to rent those, you haven't asked yourself, like, how is somebody paying 100,000 for rent? How is someone paying 2,000 for rent?
And they're okay.
And they're okay. And they're okay. That's rent. That's not their expenses. That's rent only. Haven't you asked yourself, like, how is this even possible? But it's because you have to make different financial moves. And we also have to understand, those worked back then. So you can't deny yourself, like, access to all this new technology that has come out, new financial instruments that you should be able to use. You're not using them. They have been made for you to use. They've been made for you to use. And I think who got like the highest dividends, I think, and I'm always bringing it up, Uhuru got a dividends for NCB. It's NCBA, right?
Yeah.
Almost 940 something million. Dividends. 948 million. And this is an annual thing. That's from one company. So you see, even when you're having a conversation, let's say if you ever get a chance to have a conversation with someone like him, I don't know what the kind of questions I would have that would nini.
That is the wrong person for you to ask questions. It's
maybe we talk about maybe food, like nyama, how he can tenderize meat, and we have to find some common grounds. By the way, what kind of meat do you like? By the way, what do you have for dinner?
That guy was asked in 2017 how much a loaf of bread was going for, and he said 500 shillings.
Yes,
2017.
Because he can't, honestly speaking, and remember, if you're getting dividends for 900 from one company, and there are other companies that there's no way you can know how much a loaf of bread costs. It's almost impossible.
Money is not in your periphery of
that we can't. Let's talk about something else.
And that's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal, to get to a point where you don't think about money.
Yeah. Ati nani amebuy mkate, how much? No, he doesn't. If he's saying 500, it's legit. That's what he thinks. Yeah.
They probably charge him that.
Actually, maybe that's what he paid for. The last time he paid for bread, he paid 500 shillings. Oh my God. But yeah,
I'd really like to get to that level where I'm simply obsessing about what I'm doing, and I don't really tie money to it.
Yeah. I think
and there's usually that pyramid where at the bottom we have survival. And I think I'd be correct to say that for most of us in the Kenyan society, we are that level. Yeah. And at the top, there's self-actualization. Self-actualization, where now you're pursuing power.
Different things.
Impact.
Yeah. Impact. You want to go and swim with the dolphins. I don't know where.
You want to go inside the ocean with that.
Those guys who are doing with a submarine, and because they have nothing else to do. Like when Elon Musk starts trips to the moon, you're one of the people who's like, okay, I want to go to the moon. Because there's nothing else to do. But also I'm always telling people, like, money is good. And I know, like, just talking about money is always... and I think somebody said it, like, we need to normalize it. Just so that as friends, you don't get in a financial hiccup, yet I could have shared information with you that would have, not that it necessarily means me giving you money, but the information we shared during our discussion made you make a different move with your finances. It's like, okay, you didn't know about bonds. You've had your friends talk about bonds. You tried. Okay, you've had your friends talk about crypto stocks. It's like, okay, bro, how can I actually try? Because I don't know anything about this without necessarily going to study and nini. Is there a way you can simplify it for me so that I can also get into it? So if we normalize such conversations, even among friends, it becomes, you grow as a team.
And when I came in, I told you
Yeah.
the topic of finance is usually so difficult to talk about.
Because it's personalized.
And everyone thinks they know best about how to spend their money.
Yeah.
Or how to invest their money. But I think that is part of the culture that we've had growing up. And I support you 100%. More people need to start talking about it. I think maybe it's cliche of me to ask the question, why don't schools teach about money?
Yeah.
And maybe it's because money has more of a personal responsibility aspect to it.
Yeah.
And it has to be a personal initiative. By the way, one of the best advice that I can give to the audience right now is to tell them to track their money.
Yeah.
Even I myself find myself sometimes I'm earning and spending without necessarily paying attention to it. But when you start paying attention to it, something beautiful happens.
Yeah.
You start becoming more responsible. You start cutting down on unnecessary expenses. So if there's one thing you're going to take from today's episode is start tracking your money. How is it coming in? How is it going out?
Yeah.
Where do you spend most of your money on? They usually say that if you're spending more than 30% of your income on rent, you're living in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And you can't know that until you start paying attention.
That's why I remember when I said, like, a lot of adults at times, we do live and everything, but it's very few people who take a pen and paper. Forget, of course, we all have phones, but just take a pen and paper and write down. You'll be so shocked, by the way. Because, I've had people who are asked, like, okay, I know you went maybe on holiday, not even on holiday, like you went like a sherehe thing and everything, and you bought some other things later on. It's like, how much did you spend? And then somebody will tell you, like, I don't know how much I spent. I'm like, you had this much fun and you don't know how much you spent. And I can be rest assured, 2 weeks from then, that person doesn't have any money to, like, even get them through for the month. But you can't just keep living like a kid regardless.
I want us to